What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Hades, not utilizing the shift click function that is inbuilt with Age of Mythology. He's under a second nickname, currently ranked 2 on the ladder. He's calling himself Flix, but you might know him better as Kimo, currently holding the first and the second spot on the Voobly ladder. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Thor. He's made his resurgence of late and has been playing a lot of different gods. He's definitely one of the strongest, if not the strongest, Aranos player currently playing. He's kind of proved that over the past month or so, but since then he's maybe gotten a little bit bored of Aranos. Maybe people have started beating his Aranos and he's not sure exactly how to progress, and he's deciding to play some other gods. I believe he is participating in the Norse Wars championship going on called Fimbulwinter, so definitely trying to get a feel for the Norse gods in a better way. But you know, the danger of playing Norse, as the Catastrophe boss comes in and B's annoying, delays a little bit of food gather time there from ReDo, as he didn't passive stance the wooden sword that this Catastrophe boss is wielding, brandishing. It's always going to be there until it's not there. All right, so what are we going to see here in this game? I'm not exactly sure what I was talking about before, but we do have Thor versus Hades on Blue Lagoon. I really, really like watching Hades go up against the Norse gods, because Hades is this god that really wants to sit back and kind of just deflect and deflect and deflect, whereas the Norse god wants to be putting pressure on here, pressure over there, and doing all the things that they can to find a victory. And what makes it really, really tough here for the Hades is that the speed just isn't there to keep up with what the Norse player can do, up until the Norse player can no longer win the matchup, which is obviously a possibility in of itself in this matchup. So it's an interesting one, and it definitely poses some questions on defense and on offense and what these players have to kind of deal with. That all being said, though, my opinion here is that if the Hades player decides to go aggressive in these sorts of matchups, and I mean advancing at 402 or 416, goes aggressive early and does a little bit of damage onto the Norse player, the Norse player is going to struggle mightily. The difference between, say, a Hades Athena rush and a Zeus Athena rush is that, well, Zeus can just walk in and kill the town center. Hades can't do that, but what Hades does have is a much, much stronger heroic age than Zeus does in Aphrodite. And what Aphrodite gives, obviously, is that curse, which can kind of trade a little bit better against frost. If you have restoration and curse, that's going to make your life much, much easier against that frost. And also, the Nemean Lion is a significant upgrade to, say, you might go for a Hydra sometimes in the Norse world, but probably not. But more likely the Manticore in the Underworld. Kind of, it's obviously Underworld is always going to be a good god power, but in this matchup, I've always felt that the Aphrodite is the way to go. We'll see what Kimo is going to do. He is known for his defensive gameplay. I haven't seen him be aggressive all too much with Hades or with Ra. Normally, it's a defensively orientated gameplay, and we'll see how things are going to go. ReDo, on the other hand, is already up through Freya an entire minute before Kimo. Kimo's only just started clicking up here, and ReDo's already up. If ReDo had scouted a little bit better potentially here, maybe just not brought the Skraeling back home, continued to scout, he may have been able to find these villages. He may have been able to send that Valkyrie straight there, and he may have been able to just send all of his Hersos forward. He does get himself a pair of gold lions here, and then really, really good relic hit in the early game and actually throughout the game as well, as it gives you 2 free population lions, which have got decent speed, so they can jump into your army without slowing you down too much, and decent damage. So we'll see how things are going to go as the Kimo Athena is on its way. It does look like Kimo is looking to go for a town center here. There is a decent back town center here with a rhinoceros on it. This gives enough of a boost to allow that town center to spam those villagers out, while Kimo can then start thinking about going in onto pigs and things like that. ReDo, on the other hand here, he has scouted this. He does have the Valkyrie out. I assume that Kimo is going to be going for a Chiron really, really early, as we do see the Sentinels getting dropped down. Forest Fire getting dropped here as well, as the village is going to be retreating away. We do see the army coming into the middle here as well, picking off a villager as the Ajax is almost taken down a Hersa, but ReDo does micro that one. Nice, but while this is going on, the Chiron pops out, the Sentinels pop out, and the Valkyrie will indeed fall here, as it's not able to get out of that position. But Kimo's on the back foot right now, as he's now trying to get this town center up, and ReDo is going to be searching up there immediately to try and put a stop to that. As, I mean, Chiron, Minotaur, and Ajax can be a little bit tough to kill in the early game, and we'll see if ReDo is going to have what it takes to break through there. He is building kind of the slow train time raiding cavalry here, which they are really good at actually dealing with the Chiron because they've got 6.0 speed. It means they can stick to the Chiron a bit better. The Hersa are out to try and deal with that Minotaur, but the micro on this is what is difficult, because the Chiron, you can't really take it down until that Minotaur is kind of out of here, as we do see nice micro from ReDo here, as the Minotaur hasn't been able to do all too much. The town center is still going up here, as ReDo is continuing to try and take out these heroes. Doesn't quite manage to take out the Ajax, as Restoration has been utilized, and now ReDo has to retreat away. Ajax back up to full HP. Town center is up, and a Hersa does fall. So God Power is down for both players. Kimo gets his town center. I imagine ReDo, he's got himself actually 9 villagers on wood already, which might be too many if he wants to go for a nice town center here. You can always stop these upgrades, stop all of that. We do see the Hersa getting taken out, as the Minotaur does actually manage to get a headbutt off there, but the Raider gets that upgrade, gets a little bit of extra HP in the end. And now we progress to the next part of the game, as there's not really a whole lot here that ReDo can attack here into Kimo's main base. Kimo's got himself the Sentinel, so you can't move in there too easily. Sentinels do have a track rating of 5.0, not a track rating of 3.5, a track rating of 5.0. My advanced tooltips is off, which means that the raiding cavalry can run around the outsides, but if they get close, then the town center is going to start getting some damage done. Also, watchtowers can come through. This town center is also here with a rhinoceros underneath it, so it's really tough to attack that. Kimo's just going to start getting his farms up, and ReDo has to think about what's next. So he will be getting himself this town center. He is starting to build some early throwing axemen here as well to get this one out. More throwing axemen coming through, and the big question right now is ReDo going to go 3 town centers here, or what? As the raiding cavalry moving onto this position, can they pick off a villager? Kimo not paying attention. He has not pulled back just yet. As ReDo comes through, does get a bit of a path block here, as the villagers are going to try and sneak through on this position. The delete of the storehouse does come through. 1 villager down, no villagers down, as the raiding cavalry does fall. But a storehouse down, 2 raiding cavalries down. No. Does get out of there. Nice play from ReDo. Nice play from Kimo as well to keep himself alive, as now the Chiron and Ajax going to be slowing down this town center ever so slightly, as the Hersa goes down. It's going to be a real big problem here now for ReDo, as he's got no good answer for the Minotaur, but he is dragging those units away from the Chiron, so potentially the raiding cavalry can come in here and deal with this, as we do see some villagers coming up here as well. This is really, really nice attack from Kimo, as Kimo now realizes the raiding cavalry are back, and he's just simply going to retreat back home. He might take a little bit of damage here. He might lose his Ajax, but everything else should be all right. Almost gets the Minotaur special off as well. Great micro from ReDo, as he's trying to get a surround onto this Chiron. The secret to getting the surrounds onto these sorts of units is, and always will be, box formation, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get this surround, you use box formation. You get in front, make it happen. Another Minotaur kill here, as ReDo is trying to micro this one, but now we do see some units coming out here for Kimo. The question is, will this town center be able to come up in time, or is there going to be some problems coming for ReDo with a bit of an attack from Kimo here, as Kimo's at 60 population. He's got himself 3 military buildings pumping out. Needs to remember to get the houses out, which he is getting. Economically speaking, he doesn't have plow just yet. Definitely could be utilizing that one. Would help him out a ton with the food economy. But he has hand axe, he's got pickaxe, and he's in a decent position right now. There is always going to be things like frost coming through. The second gold mine is always going to be a concern for the Hades player in this matchup. If we take a look at where the gold mines are, they're all forward, though this one relatively close to this town center. There's a gold mine over in the corner as well that is potentially able to be snuck. And one of the weaknesses, the big weakness of Thor, this is probably the reason why Thor is as weak as he is. It's probably the biggest reason, is that Thor's scouting is really bad. He doesn't get the map scouted nicely in the early game. He loses his Valkyrie because you want to use it nice and early. He loses it a lot of the time to enemy heroes, so he can't go and scout with that one. And problems arise from not having that information. So we'll see what's going to happen if Kimo is going to be able to take advantage of that. Kimo hasn't actually spotted the gold mine himself, as his Katoskopos is dead. He sees gold mine here, probably realizes there's another gold mine over the bottom side of the map, just from his own experience playing on this map. But the fact is, he doesn't know what's there either, so it might not be that big of a deal. As we are now seeing ReDo, he's going through Skadi. He's trying to get raids off with those raiding cavalry. He needs to get himself some more population out, because this is very standard Hades theory here from Kimo. It's 2 town centers, go straight to 130 population, and just run around and cause problems with your units. And effectively, if ReDo is going for this 2 town center fast heroic idea, his idea is he wants to get Huskars, he wants to get throwing axemen, he wants to be able to kill this Hades army really nicely. So the thing that he has to be concerned with is get his hill fort up, ensure he doesn't get gold starved, and potentially frost kill this army and then have a big advantage going in to a gold starve. Has to be ReDo's idea here. We'll see how it's going to go. He's got a lot of wood in the bank ready to drop that hill fort. He's already over this side here, ready to drop that one. A big problem with Norse is always that he needs to build buildings with his military, so if he wants to get that gold mine over here secured, he cannot defend over here, and Kimo knows that as he's pushing in to kill off a couple of houses, getting just a little bit of damage with his army, and there's nothing that ReDo can do about this just now, so it's just free kills here for Kimo. As we do see the hoplites moving in, they might get a villager kill here as ReDo's not paying attention and doesn't quite make that break for the town center there in time. Nice play from Kimo. Good reactions there. As we do see the raiding cavalry searching around, ensuring that no villagers are sneaking any sort of food here. Kimo's already got his farms up, so it's a bit of a no chance there for ReDo to get any raids where that's concerned. But ReDo gets himself his hill fort up. He's getting himself his Huskar out. He's getting himself up another longhouse here, and he's going to be pumping himself up to 130 population as fast as he possibly can. Moving over to Kimo's perspective here, take a look at the gold mine. He's got 100 gold left in it, so he's got no gold. This is where the timing needs to hit, and this is kind of where I think ReDo's gone just that little bit wrong. He needed to hit this timing at about maybe 12 minutes or maybe like 11 minutes and 30 seconds here. So he's hitting it right now, but he needs to pick off as many of these units as he possibly can, forcing Kimo to stay in the classical age. That's everything here for ReDo. He needs Kimo to be in the classical age. If Kimo gets to the heroic age, he gets access to the Hypaspis, which completely destroy those Huskar and everything else, and life becomes really tough. But Kimo, he's already got his armory up, and now he's going up through Aphrodite. Really good play here for Kimo. ReDo's missed that timing, so to speak. Kimo can just pull back, wait for his heroic age. He might get frosted on this gold mine still, and that could still be a problem, but with Curse, with the Hypaspis coming out, I imagine Kimo's going to be able to hold here for the time being. So next timing is kind of what ReDo needs to be looking forward to here, as well, as we do see the army moving over onto this position, looking at the town center, seeing the villagers moving forward. He will be able to pick off a handful of those. Kimo, on the other hand, he can decide to start thinking about maybe attacking this town center as the army is out of position over here, forcing the fight somewhere here, as now the units making their way over. There is a beautiful forest here for Kimo to utilize, wedging his Toxotes into that forest as a defensive standpoint there, as we do see the heavy Huskar out as well for ReDo, as ReDo now just about to get this town center up here. Part of me feels like I would have rather see a hill fort on this position because it stops the gold mine from being an option here completely. As ReDo, he basically should be thinking about frosting this army, getting a free kill. Aphrodite does come through. Still no frost just yet, as there's the curse. And ReDo at this point, he might decide to frost this, but there he goes. But he doesn't have as much population as he should at this moment to take this fight, which means this frost is not getting as much value as it otherwise should do. As we see, Kimo is now snuck this gold mine at the top, but ReDo's on this position right now and he's able to attack it. Reason why I was saying another hill fort here is because it means that this hill fort would have been up on this position and the curse wouldn't have done as much because the Huskar would have been able to come back out immediately. Now, we will be noticing that Kimo, most likely here, he'll be making some Hapaspist. He's still making some hoplites here. The Nemean line comes over to put a stop to this raid. Wall's coming up over here as well, as Kimo gets to live another day. But will ReDo be able to continue this pressure and make his way up onto this position and get this gold staff started? There is also going to be a chance for ReDo to hit the Mythic Age relatively soon here as well. Potentially a Fimble Winter in the next couple of minutes. Wouldn't go astray for ReDo in this fight moving forward. But we do see the frost finishing up. You have to get those Huskar over onto those Toxotes. That's the most important thing. It's a very, very simple micro technique. All you do is box select your units, click your Huskar, right click onto the Toxotes, and then you can set and forget. Your Huskar will absolutely annihilate the Toxotes. The Throw and Axemen have to focus down any sort of any sort of Hapaspits that are there, and you can find yourself winning these fights very, very handedly. But it's still going decently for ReDo nonetheless. But now the Hapaspits are coming in, and the question is going to be, can ReDo continue in these fights? Answer is he thinks no, not just yet. Going to take the retreat back and figure out where to go next. Kimo, on the other hand, here is at 130 or 130 population. So he can't, if he does continue to fight, his resources are going to stay very, very flat here. ReDo will start finding an advantage from having his third town center up. He's got more population. He's got, maybe he doesn't have the better units here, but he's got more population, so he should be able to find these fights nicely here. The question is, does ReDo have the production facilities at this point? As we do see the Nemean line raid coming in for Kimo here. Really, really nice play. Getting some raids onto this dwarf. You have to send a Frost Giant over there to deal with that one. As a unit still pushing forward here. It's kind of time when you see this amount of Hapaspis out, it's kind of time to stop the Huskar production, spam farms down, and make Jarls. Jarls at this point are a really, really good idea because there's no good units here that Kimo's got out to deal with the Jarls, and then you can kind of swap and fix it up as you go along. As we do see the Frost Giant comes over, does manage to hit the Nemean Lion. Dwarves are going to be safe for the time being here, so long as the Frost Giant decides to actually attack that Nemean line. I'm not sure what's happening there. The Nemean line won't be able to move because it's got a 20-second recharge the frost lasts for 20 seconds and the Frost Giant's got a 15-second recharge. But the Toxotes still managing to push forward. And honestly, the simple problem here for ReDo is he's just not getting his Huskar onto these Toxotes, and the Hapaspis is just getting so much value here against those Huskar, and ReDo has to retreat back. He's not getting the trades he needs just yet. Armory upgrades, we do see the Pierce armor has come through. One of the big natural timings that you get against the Hades, because he doesn't want to do this, is getting your early armory upgrades as Norse against Hades. Because if you continue these fights, and so long as you're not cutting military production to do so, you're going to be able to find yourself in a better military situation than the Hades player, because he doesn't want to build his armory upgrades. He wants to get Hephaestus. He wants to get them with Forge of Olympus to maximize the profit that comes from that. So you can find this. I think it's a great idea here for ReDo to just get all of his Pierce upgrades to make those Toxotes do a lot less in these fights. As Kimo needs to get pushed back, or Kimo needs to retreat at this point. It's now 4 town centers to 2. I imagine Kimo is going through Hephaestus already. I'm surprised he didn't go through Artemis here, in all honesty. An Earthquake onto this position you know, probably wouldn't have been the worst of ideas. As we do see a fortress coming up, that's going to hold this position nicely. The question is going to be, can ReDo get in here, defend this town center? There's not a whole lot over here, just villagers on the wood at this point. Wouldn't be a bad idea to get some barracks set up already. I'm sure that ReDo's got a bunch of wood here. He is going through Balder at this point. Balder against Hades is always going to be a risky move. However, ReDo's already started himself a trade route right now. Love that forethought here in this game. As Kimo just about to hit the Mythic Age, we'll see how he's going to move forward. He can get himself out an immediate Heliopolis. He can send his Colossus over here. He's got a lot of villagers on the favor, trying to get himself up to Forge of Olympus, which he can afford right away. As he hits the Mythic Age, the Plenty Vault will come down. Is he going to put it here? I like to try and guess. Okay, I was kind of close. As the Colossus moves forward, going to start taking the town center out. And ReDo, he's still got all these Frost Giants out. He's still got a strong army, but he's going to be relying on the Ragnarok to win this game. The question is, does he even need to click it here? The big difference between Hephaestus and, say, Artemis in this matchup, or any sort of aggressive god power coming through for the Mythic Age, is that Hephaestus is a slower timing that it hits, so you don't necessarily need to click Ragnarok straight away against Hephaestus. You can go for what I like to call an economic Ragnarok, which is you bank resources up to something like 3,000 of each wooden gold, and then you find yourself a position where you can spam towers down and potentially find a victory where that's concerned. As the Heliopolis does fall there, and the Frost Giant does stop the Colossus over here. As ReDo, he's now in the Mythic Age. He's going to be having himself Fire Giants to pop out here. How are the armory upgrades looking as well? He's got himself already at Iron upgrades. Maybe it's worth it to click Ragnarok right now and go for the win. Maybe it's better to take the weight. You never really know, as we are seeing ReDo taking his time here. Waiting does give the Hades player opportunity to get himself all of his own upgrades, which we're already seeing are starting to come in. Full copper already in basically here for Kimo. He's going to start making himself that full bronze straight afterwards. But Town Center still getting taken out here. No Masons through just yet here for ReDo. He's not getting that anywhere as he's just spamming villagers out. He's actually dropped down to 150 population at the moment where he has to retreat back. He's not spamming out those Fire Giants either here. Fire Giants versus the versus Hades can be a little bit of a difficult unit to utilize if you don't have Baluster out as well, because the Perseus can walk through and pick that one off quite easily, so you can end up losing those pretty badly where that's concerned, as ReDo tries to make a run for it here with his gatherers on this position, as the trade route still it's in for ReDo. He's actually trading to his hometown center instead of this bottom town center, which is much better. I'm a bit surprised to see that, as ReDo now 160 of 160 population. He could have been 180 population Ragnarok here, as he now decides to click it, going up to 340 population. Kimo on the other hand here, he does have a market, but he doesn't have any trade route. His gold mine over here just started mining it. We'll see if ReDo knows that exists. He's kind of just missed it though. He's just missed it. Look at the sneakiness. The army is not going to want to come through here because of the walls that are up, and all of the heroes of Ragnarok are going to be pushing in onto this position in an attempt to stop this town center from getting up. It's getting close. 3,500 HP, 3,700 HP. The heroes of Ragnarok are starting to hit it here, but is it too little too late, as those heroes of Ragnarok are going to fall very quickly, but more coming in onto the other side here, as the fortress is going to be falling down relatively quickly on the front as well. Kimo does have himself architects already as well here in this game, as ReDo tries to break through. Everything is going to fall. He looks like the town center has been denied for the time being. However, gold mine still getting grabbed here for Kimo is a big no-no for any Ragnarok users out there. You've got to be sending a couple of heroes to every single gold mine on the map, as the guard tower is getting taken down. The town center will go down as well. ReDo doesn't have a whole lot of resources in the bank, but with the trade route going, how much trade is he actually getting here? 53 gold isn't amazing, isn't awful, but it is some gold nonetheless, as we do see the heroes of Ragnarok checking up onto this position, just looking around to see if there's anything going on there, as we see a wall getting broken down for some reason underneath the town center fire there, as the town center will, or has been denied, and potentially ReDo could get this one back. What you have to do when you're going for a Ragnarok is you have to go through all of your military buildings, all of your buildings completely, and basically utilize the trade feature to try and get this town center up for yourself. And we are indeed seeing ReDo going for that. So he will be back up to 4 town centers, but he needs to somehow drag this game out enough and find where this gold mine is. He sees the gold is gone on this position. ReDo at this point sees one. I mean, there's no way you're going to really know. How is he going to know? How is he going to know that there's a gold mine here? How much chance is there going to be that you have a 1, 2, 3 gold on one side? Well, he sees it over the other side. He sees it over the other side, so potentially it could be a very good mirror on both sides of this map. We'll see if ReDo at any point is going to notice this, or if Kimo is going to pull the standard Hades play, which is Hades just gets this innate buff that just exists for some reason, which is players just can't find their gold mines. I don't know why, but it is how it is. As ReDo's going to have to pull back ever so slightly now. He's going to be searching around. I'm not sure where those units are going for. We see a Titan Gate coming as ReDo actually went for it. I didn't even notice that. ReDo managed to get a Titan out here as he pulls his Rag Heroes back. He's got 28 Rag Heroes to get this Titan Gate up. As the army now pushes forward, I don't even think that ReDo can win this fight on the front here with those Hypaspis coming out, as now the villagers are going to start coming through. The Fire Giant will get some good kills. Kimo actually in this position, I don't think he's lost any villagers here thus far. He's got 3,000 resources in the bank. He too can go for his own Titan in this game if he so chooses. And we see a cheeky little wall coming down from Kimo, but it does get stopped here by ReDo. He sends one hero of Ragnarok over here, going to put a stop to that one. Kimo probably could have built a handful of military barracks down here first before going for that, but didn't decide to do so, as the units still chasing away here, as that Chiron, it needs to get sniped down. 130 HP. Just take your Fire Giants. Fire Giants have got this weird feature. I thought there was a feature here where they don't miss, but maybe that's just the accuracy thing. They don't, they basically hit every single one of their attacks. If they can hit their attacks, they hit them. So you can use that Fire Giant to take out the Chiron as well. Think about it. 50% reduction in damage against the Chiron. That will take this down to about 7.5 damage a second. So you're going to be able to actually deal a decent amount of damage to the Chiron and actually take him out with the Fire Giants if you so choose. As the heroes of Ragnarok getting chased around. Titan just about up here, 50% of the way through. Kimo, on the other hand, is getting out his own Titan Gate. He's getting his heroes out. Perseus is coming through as well. Plenty of gold in the bank here for Kimo, as he's still happily mining away at this gold mine with 2,000 gold left. Going to be taking down the town center as well. He's got himself burning pitch, so those Toxotes do a decent amount of damage, as well as ReDo returning back up here. Do see an Achilles is out, as the villagers are pumping here. The problem for ReDo is he just doesn't have the economy here to make this happen. He's trying to keep his units alive as best as he can. As the village, I missed it, the villagers got roasted by the Fire Giants. That's a big win there for ReDo here. Is Kimo, he's trying to fight back on this position. The town center staying alive. We do see that the Titan Gate is now up for Kimo here. The big problem, when all is said and done, with going Titan versus Greek, and this probably shouldn't have been as close as it is, as this goal line shouldn't have been getting grabbed. But the big problem is if both players get their Titan out, and one, the Norse player kind of doesn't have the easiest time dealing with a Titan himself, but more importantly, if the talent center goes down for Norse, it can be really tough to get that one back up in the late game, as ReDo has to retreat away. This Perseus is about to pick off another Fire Giant here. As that's 2 kills here with that Perseus. That's mass value. And this is kind of what I was talking about with Hades being one of the better of the Greek gods dealing with the Fire Giants. As we do see the Titan is now out. The army here pushing forward. You have to focus down that Perseus. You can't let that Perseus be getting this many kills here. As Kimo going to be retreating back for the time being here. Kimo is now at 50% of his way through on this Titan gate. It's very, very, very rare for a Titan to be able to traverse the entirety of the map and deny a Titan gate once the Titan's already been started. As a 3rd Fire Giant gets taken down there, that's 400 gold, 6 favor for 900 gold, and I can't do that math, but let's just call it 90 favor. My golly gosh. We do see Kimo distracting here a little bit. ReDo could just bash the ground here if he wants and take down those units. The Titan actually is really, really good against human units here. As I think Kimo is just trying to distract to allow his own Titan gate to finish up here on this position. As ReDo pushes forward, does turn around, going to get a little bit of damage done as a couple of units do end up falling here, finally deciding to make that happen. As the game progresses here, it looks to me like ReDo most likely is going to be able to get his economy back into gear. The problem is that armory upgrade wise, I mean, it's actually better than I thought. So long as he can deal with this enemy Titan of Kimo, he might be okay. And I tell you what else I love. The walls are up over here in a really, really nice way. What I probably would have liked to have seen here from ReDo, potentially before the Ragnarok was clicked, was an attempt to just wall off the entirety of this map here with his Deuterinos. Get into this corner, wall this up, ensure that Kimo just cannot get access to any sort of trade route, decent trade route in this game. As 6,000 HP remaining on this Titan, as the Titan of Kimo going to be moving forward here. One of the weaknesses for Kimo here, though, is that with his own Titan out, that's 20 population. He doesn't have a whole lot of population to play with when he's got about 80 population worth of economy at the moment. So sitting at basically 120 population, or basically 40 population of units, that's only 20 units that he's got out. As the Perseus picks off another Fire Giant. ReDo has not been controlling the Fire Giants well in this game, in the slightest. We do see some great Jarls coming out. We do have the walls coming through. ReDo didn't finish off his defense of this position, and Kimo has absolutely made ReDo pay for this one. This is a big, big mistake as Kimo moves in, takes his Titan, kills off the Townsend, and comes in onto this position. Going to be dealing with this as well. We do have how many Rag Heroes here? 1 Rag Hero, a couple of Jarls here on this position are going to help out as well. We do see the Karen getting taken down nicely there by those raiding cavalry as the Jarls get tasked over here to try and deal with the Titan. One of the kind of weaknesses, though, of these sorts of attacks is that I could be wrong. I think that the Titan deals splash damage around himself in a small way while he's fighting. Not 100% sure, but the Titan here of ReDo is going to be going down. Kimo's Titan is going to be left with a sliver of HP, probably around 500 to 1,000. Bit of a misclick there from Kimo for some reason. As it looks like it's going to be about 1,000 HP for each of them as the Ox Caravans have slowed down here. Some villagers going to come over here, potentially turning these into Ulfsarks. Wouldn't go astray, but doesn't quite have the resources for that one. 800 HP left on this Titan with Fire Giants coming through. Fire Giants are pretty good at dealing with the Titan, in all honesty. Look at the damage that they do. It might not seem like a lot, but 12 damage an attack that's actually pretty good. And the Titan cannot pick off the Fire Giants easily at all. As we do see the villagers able to start shanking down this wall, that's going to allow the Ox Caravans to continue their journey here. Kimo not paying attention here. He needs to ignore these units and go straight for the hometown center here. If he picks that one off, it could be lights out for ReDo here. As Kimo, he's gotten himself up the town center. He's gotten himself a market in the top corner. He's getting this gold mine. Some more walls coming up over here as the villagers do break through on this position. As a couple more military barracks are coming down, and ReDo needs to get in here and defend this one. as fast as he possibly can. Titan, 500 HP, still picking off units here as ReDo's economy, after that devastating blow to his trade route, the more walls have gotten up and this market has been stopped from being able to be used yet again. Is there another market here for ReDo? No, there's no market here. And in that moment, ReDo does decide that the game has been lost as he taps out here. I mean, credit where credit's due. Great defense here from Kimo. But you have to ask the question, what would have happened if this gold mine didn't exist for Kimo? He would have been in a much, much worse position otherwise. One thing that, and this is what goes back to what I said earlier with the weakest part of Thor's kit is his scouting. So questions probably as Thor players need to be raised about how are you going to start dealing with that weakness? Because Thor, in all honesty, he might seem like a weak god. He is probably a little bit on the weaker side due to certain limitations with god picks and other things that end up happening. Things like not having great hunt is a big problem. Not having the lone wanderer is a big problem that Odin has. All those problems are definitely things to think about. But in the Greek matchup, I don't think those problems really exist as much as one might think. I think Thor's a decent god in this matchup. So Thor players need to start thinking when they're playing against Greek, how can you get the scouting done? You got to get that scouting done. You need to know where everything is on the map, and you got to be putting pressure. One thing that I think that 100% if ReDo had done in this game, he probably would have found a win here, is instead of grabbing this town center, putting a hill fort down here. It would have built faster for one, so it would have been up. For two, he probably wouldn't have had to click the frost on this position, though he probably should have been clicking that earlier anyways. But a hill fort on this position would have meant more Huskal, more production, and he would have been able to get this town center later without too much worry. And then he would have been able to push up to this top position here and get the gold staff. And this is the final point on this matchup that I want to raise. And it seems to me that it's the truth, is that when a Hades player decides to go to town center in this matchup, the Hades player, yes, he has to play well, but what he is doing is he's putting the ball in the court of the Norse player. And in my opinion, if a Hades player wins this matchup going to town center, it's not that the Hades player won the matchup, it's that the Norse player lost the matchup. Whenever I watch these games, I see so many opportunities for the game to just end. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't end up happening. You have to play so well to win, obviously, with the Norse, but the win conditions, so to speak, are there. But we didn't see ReDo managing to find it here in this one. If you did enjoy the game, however, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.